Coming to you live from the duct tape bar and grill, it's the 10 Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and this attempt to be organised, ironically, is a big step for us. The two men with me on the podcast today. First, one of them Unabomber types, it's Chris.
Cauliflower.
That's the second time I've made that joke. First time everyone else is hearing it. And secondly, he loves stick. He's a big fan of stick. It's Andy.
I do love a stick.
I just picked that one out. I thought that'd be a funny one. And then cauliflower. I thought I'd just say that at one point because it came up in the film. We are the 10 Point Podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts. All your podcast apps we're on now, absolutely everywhere. So please rate and review us on there if you can. Give us thumbs up and thumbs down if you feel that way. We just want some sort of feedback. And speaking of feedback, we've had feedback in the last week. A listener has reached out to us.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Brendan. Is that right, Andy?
Brendan, yeah. Get well soon. He's in hospital listening to this garbage, so.
God, I can only. Surely it's making him worse.
I was going to say, we probably put him in hospital listening to this.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're on the subject of hospitals. I think you guys might have known, like I sent you, I don't know if you actually looked at the message or not, but we found out why we're popular in Columbus, Ohio.
Why is that?
Because a small town called Columbus Moffett is really close, which some of us grew up in a small town called Moffett, but not in Columbus.
not in the United States, no. So maybe that's the link one way or another.
I still don't know why 50% of our users come from Columbus, Ohio, but that's my only investigation I've managed to
If we
find.
make it big, we'll go over there and we do one of the podcasts there.
Coming from live from Moffett, Columbus.
Live from Moffett. Well, there you go. So a big shout out to everyone, whether you be in hospital or in Columbus, and also Brendan, get in touch. Let us know if there's a film that you want us to add to our list, because that's coming soon. We're going to watch films that we don't pick, that other people pick too. So we do want to know from that. I mentioned where you can get us podcast-wise. We're on YouTube as well. We have a lot of viewers on YouTube. They seem to like Blade Trinity. So if you want to watch more,
they've been thumbs down on us on what do you call it? Look Who's Talking. We got a thumbs down. Yeah.
Oh, that's harsh.
And that was a jizz fest.
That was a good episode, but not necessarily a great film. But, so I don't know what the thumbs down would be for. Is it for us or is it for the film? I don't know. But yes, check us out on YouTube. 10 Point Podcast over on there as well, and you can see our banter as well as hear it. And that's pretty much the only difference.
You can see me, Bruce in HD, and Chris in like standard definition.
SD. At least we can see him now. In the early ones, you could just see this figure, this dark figure, like what the necromancer in the Hobbit movies. I've been forced to watch the Hobbit movies recently. That's kind of what Chris was like in
What
the.
do you mean forced?
Because Jade likes watching the Hobbit all the time, so every so often I need to sit through another 3 hours of one of them. But that's for another day, I imagine, the Hobbit. I'm not picking that out of what I've been watching. 10pointpodcast.com for all your 10 Point Podcast needs. And I'm imagining a barrage of reviews and reports and everything coming soon.
It's coming.
We've finally got the official word, haven't we, Andy, that cinemas are opening again.
I've already booked my cinema ticket. As soon as I got that email, I was on it. I'm booking tickets.
Day one, you're going to see Spiral, is that right?
Yeah, Spiral, the Book of Saw.
Yeah.
And then
Is that a personal choice, or is that like lack of movies coming out?
Well, it's a bit of both, but I still want to see it. It's got Samuel Jackson, Chris Rock, can't be bad.
Yeah, it could be good.
And then I've got Conjuring 3 the day after. I'm going to be at the cinema every day next week, pretty much.
I'm lining up. I think I've maybe got 5 things I want to see that are all available next week. And I'm finally, I nearly the other day clicked on, yes, I'll pay £16 to watch Mortal Kombat. And then I looked and I got the cinemas are opening again and Mortal Kombat's coming to the cinema.
I'm watching that as well at the cinema because I want to see it in the big screen.
Go back. I was tempted with King Kong Godzilla. I might go and watch that in the big screen as well.
Oh, that's a good shout.
Yeah, I might do. If I'm there and I want something to do for 2.5 hours or whatever.
Fuck you, COVID. Cinemas are back open.
So yeah, I think that's at time of recording. We've got probably next week's episode. So whatever comes after Logan Lucky, we might start getting some new film mentions, I would say.
I know, it's almost like we should run a news podcast.
That's a good idea. Right, but on to what we have been watching this week. I mentioned a couple of things. Chris, what have you been watching in the last week?
I've not watched much, but I've watched one thing over and over again. Cause I watched The Mitchells versus the Machines because the kids absolutely love it.
That's what I watched.
It's gone about 6 times
in about
a week.
I love the pug.
It's the wee kid. He's like, I can't understand what he says, but I find him hilarious. And I've also realised that Danny McBride sounds exactly like Seth Rogen.
Aye. I was like, oh, Seth Rogen's in this. I was like, wait there. Nope, it's Danny McBride. Yeah. I had to Google it because I originally thought it was Seth Rogen.
So yeah, it's a great film. So watch that if you can.
I'm going to say thumbs up from both of you then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's quite good. I heard it's one of the better animated.
You can also read a review on it on our website because it's already up.
Ah, it's already up there. Awesome. So review's already there. I am going to try and hit that at some point this week as well because I wanted to watch it too. What about you, Andy? Anything else other than the Mitchells and Machines?
I was getting my gutters done. I've now got my gutters are off.
Not permissible.
that was my big week.
That was you. I watched The Sound of Metal, the big Oscar touted one from earlier in the year about a heavy metal drummer who goes deaf, which it's not as depressing as it sounds, but it's a lot less about metal music than you would think. As in, he's a metal drummer in the beginning, then his hearing goes, and then it's just about being deaf after that. So don't go in thinking it's going to be a music one. Exactly. It is good, but it is not great. And Riz Ahmed, who plays the drummer in question, is very good in it.
I hate that
cunt.
It's
not that brilliant.
Why? Just because?
Yep.
Just because.
Fair enough.
I also
Story for another day.
Springs. My movie of the year last year, Palm Springs. I watched that again. Still good. I watched an oldie again, starring your man Black Panther, who every film I watch now has got him in it. 21 Bridges, which is a pretty good sort of crime kind of actiony kind of thing. But it took me. I watched the entire film without realizing that the narcotics agent in it was actually Sienna Miller. I didn't really recognize her the entire way through. But 21 Bridges, don't go in expecting a great film, but it's a good fun time.
Is it about some bridges? Is there 21 of them?
That's the thing. Neither is it about bridges or are there 21 of them.
All right.
It's about. I think it might be your sort of thing. It's like a police lockdown. There's a bad guy. Bad guys do some bad stuff, and they lock down Manhattan. And you follow the police and the bad guys, as it were, and they lock down Manhattan to stop them getting out. So they shut down the 21 bridges to get them off Manhattan. Except there aren't 21 bridges. There's 18 or something like that, and the rest are tunnels. So there's not even 21 bridges in the film called 21 Bridges.
Why didn't they call it 18 bridges and some tunnels?
Exactly.
I would watch that film.
But yeah, it's good. It's good. But one thing that isn't good that I watched in the last week, and I thought, right, I'm a massive fan of the film that it spins off from. I thought, right, this can only be so bad that I don't like it. Like, it'll still be good because it's so much about characters I like and things I liked before. I watched not the sequel to, but a spin-off of The Big Lebowski. I watched The Jesus Rolls, as the movie that is it John Turturro? Is that what you call him? He made about the character that he played in like 2 scenes of The Big Lebowski. He himself directed and wrote and wanted to make for 10 years, whatever it was, and finally made it. It's pretty terrible. No matter how much you like The Big Lebowski, you won't like The Jesus Rolls. It is pretty dreadful.
Yeah, I watched the trailer and I was like, nope, I'm out.
I thought the trailer. I thought, maybe they're just saving some of the kind of wee quirky bits, the bits that are make it Big Lebowski for the actual film. No, I think it's literally a different story. As in, it's a French film that they took the story from and then added the Jesus to, and then made this American version of that previous film. And it's just, it doesn't work. It's weird, and it's a lot of it feels like a lot of actors just having a bit of a laugh, fooling around for a summer. Essentially, is what it feels like, but. No, do not bother with it. I don't think that's a big thumbs down for the Jesus Rolls.
I'll avoid that one then.
Yeah, I would avoid it. Just watch Big Lebowski for the 100th time for me.
Oh, I did watch something else.
Oh, right.
In between my gutters, I put on one of the best films of season 1, Chef. I watched Chef again, and it does every time. So good, except from the ending. It's a bit shit, but
yeah.
It's still up there. Still one of the best films I've watched in a long time.
I think it was a high scoring one from season 1.
Yep.
Chef, it did very well.
Yeah.
Scoring.
Came out of the blue, that one. I wasn't expecting to be that good.
It was the one that didn't fit for Andy's theme.
It was almost a post-apocalyptic dystopian future.
In many ways, yes.
You wait until this theme. Strap in.
Oh yeah, I was looking at your films again. I was like, do they all begin with L? No, they don't all begin with L because I've picked 2 films that begin with L as well. So no, it's not all Andy's picks. So yeah. Anyway, we better crack on. On to the reason that we're here this week. Point number 1. What is the point? The 2017 comedy crime drama Logan Lucky, brought to us by Studio Canal, Film Nation Entertainment, and Trans Radio Pictures. But more on the studios in a wee while. I'll come back to that. Directed by Steven Soderbergh. Famously directed Sex, Lies and Videotape, Out of Sight, Erin Brockovich, Traffic, Oceans 11, 12 and 13, Contagion, a great film by the name of Haywire, Magic Mike, Behind the Candelabra, and then Logan Lucky is the last big one that he did, and nothing beyond that was too huge in my eyes. Yes, we have covered Steven Soderbergh before, so I won't go too much further into his IMDb page, as it were. But the film, interestingly, was written by Rebecca Blunt. It's the only film that she ever wrote because she is actually not a real person. She is the pseudonym of Jules Asner, who only wrote one film as well. The reason that she used a pseudonym to write this one film and this one film only is that she is the wife of Steven Soderbergh. And the two of them didn't want this film to be around, oh, it's him directing his wife's script and oh, what a lovely thing it is. So all the way through production and through some of the press as well, the actors and all that would talk about how, Rebecca Blunt, this made-up person, she's a writer who lives in England and we've only spoken to her over the internet and all that sort of stuff, keeping up this facade that she was a real person, but actually it was Steven Soderbergh's wife.
I Google it. I thought she might be related to Emily Blunt.
and she wasn't at all, no. She is related in some way or another to, is it Mike Asner or some big studio head person? I think it's involved with Disney, but I could be wrong. But she herself, why she is famous and can write this one film and all that, is that she's a famous entertainment reporter and presenter. So she does like
us when we do films.
Exactly that. It was like Entertainment Tonight or whatever. But she was a television personality, so therefore hid her identity and all that. The film, that's Logan Lucky, stars, I've got on my script here, Changing Tatum, but it's Channing Tatum.
Changing Tatum.
We've done him before, as in this season, 21 Jump Street. He was also in 22 Jump Street, White House Down, Foxcatcher, and Logan Lucky. They're the highlights, according to the internet. He was in nothing else he's been in, none of the other famous films, but we've done him before. Adam Driver, who we've also done before. That wasn't this season, though. We did him in The Dead Don't Die, the great zombie film that we covered.
Film that just won't disappear.
He's famous, of course, for the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and according to the internet, Patterson, and then the Oscar-nominated Marriage Story, which is the only one he made after Logan Lucky. All others came before Logan Lucky. Third star, who I will mention, Daniel Craig. We've never done Daniel Craig before. Famous for Layer Cake, Munich, Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace. The best 30-minute cowboy movie I've ever seen, Cowboys and Aliens.
It's fucking banging, Jon Favreau.
An incredible half hour of a western that turns into a horrific 90 minutes of a sci-fi film. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Skyfall, Spectre, then he made Logan Lucky, and then was in Knives Out just recently, and then will be in the sequel that I believe is going into production quite soon. Daniel Craig, he's James Bond, isn't he? That's really, there's not much else to add to Daniel Craig. I don't know if I missed anything else out.
He likes an accent, doesn't he? He's got a weird accent, Knives Out.
He was very both Southern, aren't they? Southern American. These last two. Are you going to make the reference I thought you'd make later on, Andy, or will I leave Daniel Craig and Adam Driver alone for the time being, or are they coming up later on? The fact that they were also in a movie together.
Nah.
Daniel Craig also in Star Wars, as he played a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens. So
they're not in the same scene together though. Almost the same scene.
Almost. They're in the same room, but not at the same time. Yes. Daniel Craig, essentially James Bond. His last, I believe, James Bond film has been coming out forever, and has ruined cinema. If you go back and watch the old,
it's ruined cinema. It's shut all over the movie industry, and it's going to fucking die on its arse when it finally comes out. Well played.
Yes. No time to die, pun intended. No time to come out and then die. Logan Lucky, made on a budget of $29 million, and this is where I mentioned the studios earlier, because Steven Soderbergh avoided working with big studios on the film and managed to keep 100% creative control, him and his wife that would be, including making his own trailers and their own posters for the film. He sold off the distribution rights in foreign countries, so not the US, but the rest of the world. He sold off distribution rights to different companies there, plus the post-theatrical run rights, i.e. to streaming services. I don't know if it's to Amazon specifically, but I watched it on Amazon Prime, and took all that money to pay for his own marketing for the film. not using big studio marketing companies, doing it himself, thus making the target for it to make a profit a lot lower than what your average film would be for this. So on a budget of 29 million, it opened for 7.5 million, which was below what he was targeting anyway. Final US gross was just 1 million less than the budget for 28 million, but worldwide it grossed $48 million. So it did make a profit in total, but not exactly a massive money spinner.
That's why I need to pay the big studio big boys.
That's it. It might have done better if they'd used a bit more of the it's from the people who made Ocean's 11 and all that. If they'd done that, it might have made a bit more money. Released 18th of August 2017 means it was eligible for the 2018 award season that we have not done yet. So let's run through 2018. At the Oscars, Logan Lucky was not nominated for anything. Your Best Picture nominees. So pick your winner out of these. I think it's 9, 8 or 9.
Parasite.
Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Oh, I was wrong. That's 3 Billboards year, isn't it?
I've only seen Dunkirk, so I'm going to say Dunkirk.
Personally, I think Dunkirk's the best, but no, it was The Shape of Water year where it
Was
randomly came out of nowhere. And
the Hellboy
prequel.
Having
Sex with a Fishman one
Oh, yeah.
year. I refused to watch that film.
Don't do it. It's awful. I did.
Okay.
Mistakes were made.
I have seen a few of that year. I think 3 Billboards, another one that's massively overrated. But Dunkirk and Get Out are both really good. But yeah, not a terrible year for the Oscars, but a mixed bag. How did the MTV Movie Awards shape up then in comparison? Logan Lucky not nominated, again, not mentioned at all. But Best Movie, 5 nominees, but more reasonable. Avengers Infinity War, Black Panther, Girls Trip, It, and Wonder Woman are your 5 nominees for Best Movie of 2018.
Black Panther won that, didn't it?
I want to say Infinity War, but we'll go Black Panther.
Black Panther did indeed win it, despite not being as good a movie as Infinity War.
You can't say that.
Yeah.
The sensitive people all get in trouble and contact us.
There is a bit of everything in the nominees there. Covered a lot of bases. That was the thing that came and went. I don't know, is there a massive fandom still for It, or did the second movie completely wreck what it had?
Yeah, the first one was banging. Not as good as the Tim Curry one, but I can't watch the Tim Curry one now because it's just too funny. But the first one, terrifying. And then the second one shite.
So yeah, they were huge for a while, but yeah, I felt like once the second one came out, it kind of killed it off. But yeah, Black Panther won that year. Chadwick Boseman mentioned number 2 for the episode. And then the Razzies of 2018. Not nominated, Logan Lucky at all, did not mention. And I don't need any explanations for these nominees here. They're all quite obvious. Worst picture picked from these 5 nominees. Baywatch, that's the Dwayne Johnson one, not your Mitch Buchanan one. The Emoji Movie. 50 Shades Darker, which I believe is the second 50 Shades movie. I don't know if they made all 3 or not. The Mummy, Tom Cruise, not Brendan Fraser, of course. And then Transformers: The Last Night. I don't know which one of the Transformers.
I quite like that one.
That's a bag of shit right there that year. I'm pretty sure Baywatch won it, but it shouldn't have. It should have definitely went to what do you call it?
I think I've lost track of what you said now.
The one before Transformers.
It went Baywatch, Emoji, 50 Shades, Mummy, Transformers.
50 Shades.
Mummy should have won it because that was garbage.
It was the Emoji Movie, which I believe is one of those all-time worst reviewed movies ever.
No, I watched that at the cinema. It's pretty good.
My girls love that film.
Exactly.
They watch it all the time.
So
it's hilarious.
Yeah, I have seen none of those, so I can't call. Even the Baywatch, which I wanted to see, I just never actually got around to.
God, I'm avoiding that. It looks utter pish.
That's good.
And I'm intrigued by the Mummy. I will at some point see that.
It's awful. Do not do it.
But yeah, not one mention of Logan Lucky at all. So it has won 2 awards in its history. One of them was it was quite good, so here's an award thing. Like you did quite well at the box office somewhere. I don't know what it was, but the other one actually won an award. Daniel Craig won Best Comedic Performance at the San Diego Film Critics Society Awards. Not a huge one, but it did win. Other nominations that it gathered, 3 were for Most Underrated Movie of the Year, which I think tells you something. 2 others were for Daniel Craig. One was for the casting, one was for the screenplay, one for Best Comedy Film, one for the soundtrack, and one for Steven Soderbergh's poster. He got an award nomination for that as well. On to the film, though. I've got a brief synopsis here by Anonymous. No name put to this.
Never trust
First time I've read
Anonymous.
it, So this is again me just sight reading it here. Jimmy Logan is laid off from his construction job at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. While visiting his ex-wife Bobby Jo to pick up their daughter Sadie for a beauty pageant, he learns that Bobby Jo and her new husband are moving to Lynchburg, making it even harder for Jimmy to visit. Jimmy goes to a bar run by his brother Clyde, an Iraq War veteran who lost his hand during the war. Max Chilblain, a pretentious British businessman and NASCAR team owner, arrives with his friends and insults Clyde, leading to a fight with Jimmy. Meanwhile, Clyde sets fire to Max's car with a Molotov cocktail. On his way out, Jimmy yells, "Cauliflower," which Clyde recognises as a code word they used when they committed crimes as young boys. Next day, Jimmy reveals his plan to rob the Speedway, exploiting his knowledge of their pneumatic tube system for moving money. ... And that's the end of my synopsis there. A bit of a teaser rather than a synopsis. Did anyone not watch the 2 hours-ish standard version of this film, or was there only one version of this one, Aidan?
There's only one in Amazon.
Yeah, same. Yeah, so I think we
Amazon.
all watched the same one. Which I think we've now righted that train back onto the track. We're not watching a different film every time. It was my selection, and the reason I picked it was it's come up about 100 times in the podcast. Andy keeps saying I should have picked it instead of something else that I picked, so I finally picked it. And it was what I was already aware of it, and I wanted to at some point see it, but I just hadn't got around to it. And that is the reason. Andy had obviously seen it. Chris, had you seen Logan Lucky before?
No, I hadn't. No.
So first time view for Chris. Andy, any pre-match comments on the film, or we just want to get into the high points?
Nah, I just seen this at the cinema, watched it at the cinema, liked it, recommend it to you, because you kept picking a bunch of Thingy Soderbergh's shit films.
I kept dancing around about it, but never actually picking it. Yeah. So okay, on to the point 2 then, the high points. I've done a lot of talking, so I'll leave the high points to Andy since he's seen it. So why don't you give us an early high point or 2, Andy?
Daniel Craig as like a blonde SS dude. His whole character is just brilliant.
I was looking for the trivia for this film just before we did the podcast, and one of the bits of trivia was Daniel Craig bleached his hair for the role in this film, and I'm like, oh, that's a cracking bit of trivia.
I don't know why.
One of those
Like,
roles.
yeah.
Do you know the Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder where you just wouldn't
Yeah.
expect him to play that role? It's one of those roles you wouldn't expect him to be in.
Because
It's
it's a slow burner, this thing. Like, it's like, okay. And then suddenly Daniel Craig came in it, and I was like, I don't know why, but I think I was at a low point going, I don't think I like this film. And then suddenly Daniel Craig came in, and I was like, all right, he's pretty funny. And then he just wanted a boiled egg. And then I was like, hey there, a boiled egg out of a vending machine. That does
Yeah, I
not
was
seem
very
safe.
Yeah. Even with it's got fake salt or whatever it was on it, but yeah, I would. And he repeatedly kept eating them as well.
Yeah.
So it must be okay.
But that was the point where suddenly my interest was piqued in this film. It got to that point, I was like, oh yeah, okay. I'm hooked now. How do you see what happens with this guy?
It was a double header because Daniel Craig comes in with he's got an extra bit of charisma about him, and then immediately you get introduced to his 2 brothers, and I'm like, okay, right, yeah, here are the I don't know, the enigmas around about the 2 main characters here, because the 2, Channing Tatum and Adam Driver, play kind of low key. There's nothing too mental about them. He's got the fake arm, but that's about it. But yeah, the other 3, the Bang brothers, are just like, I don't know,
Yeah.
craziness.
Well, do you know what's refreshing is they're actually smart rednecks. Like they get asked to do a lot of stuff and they do it well,
Yeah.
and you're just waiting for them to like do something to fuck it up,
Yeah.
but they don't, and it just all works out perfectly.
And he knows all the Twitters.
That's all, yeah, everything there is to know about computers, all the Twitter. Yeah, because they kind of disappear, the 2 of them, the two simple brothers, as it were. After the whole heist goes down, they disappear, and I thought, all right, what idiotic thing are they going to have done? And then we never really see much of them again. So I'm assuming that they got their payoff and they took off with the money, and it's like, all right, job done, professionals. Any other high points in the early going?
I've got one. Like, am I the only person in the world who can't throw anything for shit? Because what an arm Channing Tatum has, and Adam Driver, no pun intended. Like when I made, do you know me? He's just got sacked. He walks out, he just lobs the thing behind him, and it rattles into the bin perfectly. And then he throws a brick and 2 phones through a car window perfectly, and then a Molotov, and it's just like, I would have smashed somebody a mile away with them. That's what it just hit them perfectly.
Channing Tatum, of course, was advertised as being an all-time great quarterback in the film, so him throwing it, that fits. But yeah, for his brother to do it as well was quite impressive. And going into the film, I do my random stats. I would usually do something literal with the titles. I was like, I'll check how many times the Logans are lucky in this film. And literally, what did I get to? I got as high as 3. One was him throwing the hard hat and then the lid shutting on the box. Them throwing the phone into the bin, into the car flawlessly, and then also the brick as well. And then him catching the explosive device when it comes out. And that's it. Like, I thought there was going to be more Lucky things happening. So I thought I mentioned it now. It only got as high as 3, but yeah, like the perfect throws. Like you say, because he even just walks out with the brick and he just
just so
tosses it.
nonchalantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then same with the Molotov, he goes, "You got a light?" Yeah. Boof!
Yeah.
Through the window and it just blows up.
I've got that as a high point too. The early bar scene with the Englishman, who it was the 3rd scene he was in when I realised it was Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
I
was literally
I didn't realise that was him until near the end.
I was literally about to say that. It's just like the thing that I, like one of my high points is this is like not so much cameos, but the random ass cast. They're all good. You got like Sebastian Stan just rocks up. You've got Seth MacFarlane. You got Katie Holmes. It's just like, why are all these people in it?
You have Sebastian Stan, who is like, at this point, he is an Avenger, and he's like a really handsome actor guy. And I don't think we actually get like one shot of him just on camera. He's
No.
always like in a car or doing stretches, or he's in that. There's never a proper shot of Luke. It's the Winter Soldier in this film.
I don't think he's in it for like longer than a minute.
Yeah,
He seems like that fast, is in and gone.
But yeah, the whole scene of Seth MacFarlane showing up, him getting him to make him the drink, and him intentionally doing it one-handed and being all flashy about it, and then just I do love a good tension scene where Jimmy comes back and it's all going on, and then you know he's just going to beat the shit out of him eventually and start the fight, and then obviously the car getting blown up as well. That whole thing is probably the best. I think probably the best span of the film for me personally is the bar out to the car blowing up. The next one, which probably the one not far behind it, is when the Logans first meet the Bangs at the fair.
Yeah.
That first scene where we get the Twitter's line as well. That's the bit where the two of them, we're reformed now. We're taking the moral high ground. And then he says, and I rewound back and listened to it again, one of them says, yeah, we want to be on the light side of the law, not the right side of the law. He says the light side of the law, and then there's a pause, and then I don't know if it's intentional or not, but Adam Driver just goes, and then someone else starts talking straight after he delivers that line. So I don't know if it was in the script or whether he fucked up. I don't know, but it's just a pause where everyone just goes silent, and Adam Driver just, wait, did you say? And then someone, I think Channing Tatum just starts with his next line, and they carry on going. But
the bit where they go, they kind of discuss it. He goes, "Come in, me. What do you think?" "Yeah." And then just walk away. It's going,
Yeah.
It's like not much deliberation about it.
They were like possibly the best people in the film. And I didn't realise it was Jack Quaid for The Boys either. For ages.
And I'm like, oh, it's The Boys. It's and I cannot remember either the character name or the actor's name. But yeah, he's like the most unexpected appearance in this film for me. The list is really long. I kept adding someone else and someone else and someone else and someone else. Any other high points?
Yeah, the sound of that blue Mustang. I had myself a wee eargasm. Like, as soon as it takes off and they come out of the thing, oh, that's my dream car, I tell you.
Would you go stick or automatic?
Yeah.
Automatic, because I can't drive.
my like main high point in this film is I love a good heist plan. Yep. And this was a good heist plan. It was up there with classic Ocean's heist plan, like actually onto a decent story.
An Ocean's film. They just should have made this instead of Ocean's 8 and just put like was it the joke they make in the film was Ocean's 7-Eleven because they find the car at a convenience store? But yeah, this is an Ocean's film just without Danny Ocean. Just make somebody in this a cousin of, I don't know, Rusty or something like that, and just make it an Ocean's film because it's literally.
I love his little model, which was so detailed. You just lift it up and have it. This is where it's cracked. This is where the money comes.
Literally a high point I've got is Jimmy's model of the heist. It's perfect. Yeah, I love a plan coming together.
Yeah,
a great bit of any film.
My final high point, and this is a big high point. It's up there with the chef brisket, that bacon scene.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was some good bacon.
I do like well done bacon myself. So
yeah,
well
it was perfectly cooked, and I wanted that bacon right then. It was up there with the brisket.
Cauliflower. And I got into trouble, but you made me bacon, so I'm going to listen to you.
Yeah. Bacon makes everything right.
You've already mentioned it, but my other high point has got to be that scene with just behind me, where the thing comes shooting out. He's just standing there, don't breathe. I'm not. Don't move. I'm not. And he's just like, twisted the bag too much.
Yeah,
Twisted the
exactly.
bag.
It's also careful. No, yeah, just all of a sudden.
I-
I didn't actually pay. I didn't pay close enough attention. It went all sciencey, but I'm not sure how he made happen what happened there. Like, how did he make a bomb out of that? Because he put
I think
he put
there's
stuff
something
in
to
a
do with the
bag.
salt. There's like potassium or something in the salt, and then the gummy bears or something like that dissolve with the glue or whatever it is you
Right.
put into it, the bleach, and then the light from it opening just goes bang.
Let me save you, Chris. This is up there with the famous Under Siege 2 scene, where
Yeah, nice.
where you have a cocktail shaker, a pager, and a tub of ice cream. You put it in a microwave, it blows up half a train.
Right. Okay.
Steven Seagal style. We don't know how it worked, but it was just a good scene.
It was absolutely. I don't. It's just it was more of a. I didn't know what happened in the vault that wasn't happening outside the vault that made it blow up. I didn't know what the difference was. That's where they kind of lost me on the whole thing.
I find it funny. It was like we are dealing with science here. Like 1 minute second later, just telling us how writing an equation on the wall. This is
Yeah.
what's going to happen, and then boom. So are you ready?
Yeah, very good. And it's not something I've like seen before. Like it was something different. The fact that they were blowing the vault out from the inside was just random things. And it was funny. I laughed when he ordered the gummy bears, and then for that to pay off like a scene or two later, that he actually needed them. I thought was quite funny. The one scene that no one's mentioned yet. I don't know if it's because I'm a bigger fan than you guys. Is the prison escape was good. It reminded me of A Way Out, that two-player game that we were covering for a while off the podcast. But the escape was really good. I quite like that. But then when they have the riot and then the inmates' list of demands,
Oh, yeah.
the Game of Thrones books, is all a fantastic scene with him saying he hasn't written them. He's too busy promoting the TV show, and they're all like, "No, bullshit."
Those two guys have told us she's got our dragons.
Yeah.
It's because it's TV's ahead of it. Bullshit.
Yeah. Great.
That
scene.
was made me laugh actually.
And that seemed to be it. There was no other demands on this riot or this hostage situation. It was just we want the last Game of Thrones books. And it is. Very good. Any other high points?
Nope.
The fact that the heist went ahead was planned. There was no like double cross and stuff like that. It was just it worked.
Or
It was
did it?
very, very, very Oceans in its reveal, where
Yeah.
you know they're planning something, but us as the viewer, you don't know what the plan is, but you know they've got a plan, and then you see it panning out. You know, oh, that's what they're planning. That's what they were planning. And it gets to the end, and you're like, well, that seems like it didn't work properly. And then you get the second reveal of this is actually what was happening. Is a very Oceans thing to happen. So that's why I think it's even more of an Oceans film. The two more low points that I have.
He's gone.
He's gone. He'll be back.
He'll be
Oh,
back
he's
at
still
some
there.
stage.
He's still there. I'll keep talking. Two more small ones. I've got. Oh, actually, I mentioned one of them was him throwing the hat and it landing falsely in the box. The other one was at one point Joe Bang mentions to his brothers, just go and see the bear in the woods. And blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. All right. And then you see this guy dressed as a bear, hands in the bag, and then walks away, and that's it. Like that's the whole the bear in the woods. And I was like, that's incredible. Just this guy setting up heists by wandering around in the woods. And that's my last high point. So we'll move on to low points. At some point, Chris will tell us that he's back and he can hear us.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there.
He's here. So low points. Andy, why don't you start off with your low points?
Right. Strap in for this one. So I did say one of my high points was the heist. One of my low points is the heist. Because I have severe problems, right? Everybody seems to know each other where they are. It doesn't seem like it's got a massive population. How the hell did they manage to pull the heist off without anybody knowing?
Yeah, anybody get involved? Yeah.
Like, everybody seemed to know everybody.
Yeah.
Anytime they walked in, like, even, like, he's going across state lines and all that, but it seemed like each local area all knew the Logans. Everybody knew, like, the bomb dudes. There's no way they could just walk in under a NASCAR thing and do this and do that without anybody going, oh, hi, Dave, and hi, Jimmy.
The problem would be that it is at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So Charlotte is a big city, to the best of my mind. So I'm assuming at the Speedway, they'd be fine and nobody'd recognise them. But you're right.
Plus, it only happens once a year, so it's not like they're walking in there every single day.
No,
No,
exactly,
but
yeah.
he was actually working as a digger guy.
Yeah, but that would be not when the races were on, if you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be digging the racing was. happening. So, but yeah, outside of that, surely everyone would be like, "Oh yeah, I saw you with that car and you parked it over there," or "Yeah, I know you're planning this."
It
And
did seem like an
all of a
era where
sudden, you've
everybody
got a
knew
brand new
everybody's
bike.
business.
Yeah.
And it's one of them ones where they're doing this kind of like big reveal. It's like, but surely that person would have seen that bit. And surely somebody would have seen that car get nicked. And then the two coppers pulling over the old woman in the purple. It's like, that entire plan hinged on them actually pulling over that car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm not being like, "Oh, that car's going really fast." Ah, forget it. Like, they're
Yeah.
going, "Oh, that car's going really fast. Let's go after it." Oh, and chasing it.
Like, surely, like, he even mentioned, why not slow down because the police are about. And she said, oh, no, we've got it covered. But just slow down for, like, that one little bit.
Yeah,
and then
just
speed up again.
steaming past them. If I was the coppers, I'd be like, okay, let's get on this.
Yeah.
Call it in. We need backup.
I'm also still not exactly sure why they didn't tell the Bangs why Melly was involved. Like, what were they saving by not letting them in on the fact that she was doing a side bit of the plan?
Yeah.
In case they got, I don't know, captured and spilled the beans. I don't know.
Because I feel like they stole more. Like, obviously that's where the extra money came from. They stole more
Yeah.
money than they thought they were stealing, but like they didn't tell like Joe Bang and all they were giving the money back anyway. Like, that seemed to be a surprise to them that he gave the money back. So I don't know why he just didn't tell everybody all the plan.
Yeah.
Just have everyone work together better.
See, I thought there he was, when he was looking at his daughter or something, I thought he had like a case of morality or something. It's like, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to go to jail and lose my daughter or something like that. So I thought he was just giving it back and everybody's going to be pissed on him.
Well, I'm gonna take it before anybody else does. The entire daughter stuff needed to be ripped out of this film, including the worst part, her singing. She mullered a great song. Absolutely mullered it.
It's not exactly a great song.
No, it's
a banger song.
It's definitely one of my two low points I've got here. One of them is there's far too much of her storyline. Like, it's never relevant enough. Like, okay, he's a good dad, and it's his alibi that he was there, but really it's a pretty bad alibi. But yeah, we didn't need to know everything the whole time. Oh, why is the sister go? Oh, she's coming back. Oh, she's not here. Like that, we didn't need that to know that she was away for a whole period of time. Just could have been, oh, she was more involved than you thought. Would have just been a good reveal rather than, oh, she was supposed to be with the kid the whole time. But yeah, far too much of the girl preparing for the pageant. What about you, Chris? Any low points?
Yeah, people like Seth MacFarlane, his character, who are obsessed with their phones and document everything. He's like, not phone the police, document it, videotape it.
That's what you got to do in this day and age.
He's just a prick. I'm glad he got beat up twice.
Twice, yeah.
I've got a two-parter as well. Like the whole story about Dayton White, like him going on this cleanse and putting software in his body. It was just completely pointless and like literally did nothing other than the fact that he didn't back up his guy's story. And the other one was the health lady. She was literally only there just to give Jimmy a love interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, you take them out, you've got like 20 minutes less of the film. You don't need to watch.
Like, they'd done the heist, and it was kind of the money giving back stage. And I'm like, how long's left? There's still half an hour of the film left. And I'm like, that's a lot of milking time to go from having stolen the money to the end of the film. There could be a lot going on. But yeah, take out the excess of the little girl storyline and the love interest, which totally unnecessary. There's absolutely no need for her in it. You could literally cut every scene she's involved in out, and it would not change the film at all. Like, it would work exactly the same.
That brings me on to Hilary Swank as well. She was fucking pathetic. Her like voice was just so monotonal, and I was just like, I hope they get away with it just because I don't like you.
That's what FBI agents sound like.
Yeah, she's supposed to be a kind of a villain, I guess. Really, you're not supposed to like her.
Voice is shit.
They saw how the police officer in Gone Girl went down, and we thought, right, we can't
look
as bad as she did in that film. So we need to,
people can't like.
The last low point I've got, which it's not such a low point, but throughout the film they mention the whole point it's the Logan Lucky because there's a curse on the Logans, the Logan curse. The problem is in the film it gets mentioned a reasonable amount, but with zero evidence. Like obviously his arm blew off and he can't play football anymore, and that's it. And at times a lot of storyline was put on, oh, we're cursed, we're not going to get away with it. Another half of the film is, look how great we're doing with our amazing heist that we're planned here. And I feel like there wasn't enough, I don't know, danger of the curse coming to get them. There was never any bits where, oh, it might go a bit wrong. No, they're fine. Oh, it might go a bit wrong there. Except from the very end with Hilary Swank, which I guess is kind of where they're going, where
Yeah.
they think they finally got away with it, but actually there's an FBI agent in the bar making eyes at Clyde across the bar. So, yeah, the Logan
She
curse,
just
I
wants
don't
his
think
Bobby.
was- I think she wants his money. I think she's on the job. I think.
Yeah, she's definitely on a job.
Yeah. Any final low points before the podcast hits a low point?
It's not a low point. It's more of a question. Like, why doesn't Moody ride in the same car as his wife and kids? Like, he always turns up in like a red Mustang or a blue Mustang.
Because
and
they're
there's
his
no
cars.
chance to drive with the kids.
Doesn't want to get them wrecked. I think he's just using them from
Don't
his car
drive them
business.
then. And this just confused me as why he wouldn't travel with his family.
I would say because he wants to be in a flash car, but it's not a family-sized car, so therefore he can't fit everyone in his car, but he still wants to be flashy because he's a car salesman. Anyway, on to point 4 on the podcast, the stats point. I think Andy's ready.
I thought I heard a shit.
You did indeed, Chris. You heard 5 of them. Not a massively sweary film. It was only rated 12 rather than a 15 in the UK. I don't know what it is in the American ratings, but only the 5 shits. Andy, I don't know if you're up against it. Did you hear any?
There was a lot of shits, like a lot of potential shits as well. Nothing visually on screen, but there was definitely bedpans. There was toilet cubicle meetings. There was the shits and the pigs and stuff like that. There was a lot of shit. Not visual shits, but there was a lot of shit nearby or about to happen. And a lot of shit going down.
Potential shit.
Wait.
Oh,
Let's keep on the toilets here.
Of
How
course.
easy are American toilets to move in prisons, by the way? What's that plumbed into?
Easy was because he just pinged it. He's like, oh fucking hell.
But yeah, that's all I've got to say on that one. American
Yeah,
toilets,
yeah.
Don't trust them.
Nope.
Although if you get incarcerated in American prison, you know how to escape now.
Yeah, take a shit.
I think there was one other swear. I think Channing Tatum dropped an F-bomb early on at one point, but I could have misheard it. So I'm willing to be told otherwise. But I think there was an F, but that was it. Very low on the swearing, 6 in total. I counted there were only 2 explosions in the film. One was the vault, and one was the jar of mixture that they really forgot to throw away. So 2 explosions, but there were 3 bangs, as in there was Joe and the 2 brothers. So, there were 3 bangs. More bangs than explosions. Deaths, 0. Not 1 death.
I was quite shocked at that. I was expecting
yeah.
somebody to die at some point.
Not 1 death. Not really an old person in it to die either. Normally you get all this sob story of an elderly relative that has to die one way or another. And no dead animals either. No cows, no birds, no nothing. No animals were harmed in the filming of
Podcast first here.
Yeah.
I know.
I think that was
It's quite a boring film, actually. Go back and kill a cow.
Chris mentioned Hilary Swank, a big-time Oscar-nominated, if not Oscar-winning actress. 93 minutes into the film was the first time she appeared. It took over an hour and a half, 3/4 of the film before she arrived. But obviously, the heist had happened before the FBI showed up. I did the Times Lucky earlier on, not that very lucky. And did they say the thing in the film? Did they say Logan Lucky?
No.
Not together, no.
No, I think they might have said the unlucky Logan curse at one point. So technically, Lucky and Logan is there, but I think no times was Logan Lucky said. Any other stats, Chris? Normally you keep 1 or 2.
It's not really a stat, but every time they passed the West Virginia sign, it gradually got darker. Like it was broad daylight, and then it was kind of mid-evening, and it got gradually darker.
Why the hell did you notice that?
I just did. It just because it purposely panned up to the West Virginia sign, and it got darker every time they did it.
You've got that retard brain going on.
His uncle. Huh?
I said you got that retard brain going on.
And it's notice things, Dick.
Redneck genius.
Exactly, yeah. I've got like equations all in my walls of signs. And also, despite being said, his uncle Clyde and her have no screen time together, and he also never smiles throughout the whole film until right at the very end when he's toasting with the agent.
Yeah, he's very just like the whole time.
Droll.
Never up and down. Yeah. Very good. Point 5 on the podcast is the quiz. So back to Chris. Chris for the quiz. The quiz is for the quiz.
Who did I say I had to start with? Andy. Okay,
said Andy,
it's just a basic movie quiz. So
I'm out.
What was on Jimmy's It's a quite an easy one.
Bacon.
What was on Jimmy's plaster after his tetanus jab?
Ouch.
No, My Little Pony.
Oh.
Bruce, who sings the American national anthem for the race?
Was it Leanne Rimes? I forgot to check that.
It was Leanne Rimes. Right, we're going to take this one in turns. I want you to give me 2 of the 10 rules for robbing a bank, but one at a time. So, Andy.
Shit happens.
Bruce.
Remember, shit happens.
Okay, Andy.
Oh, I've literally forgot them all because I just want to keep saying shit happens. Don't get too greedy.
Yes.
Know when to walk away.
Shush.
If it's back to me, have a plan was point 2 on the plans, I think, or something like that. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that was it. I don't want to go through the whole lot, but you could have had decide to rob a bank, have a plan, have a backup plan, establish clear communications, choose your partners carefully, expect unexpected, shit happens, don't get greedy, remember shit happens, and hang up and know when to walk away.
Very good.
So, you did well.
They weren't written for the film. They're from another film called How to Rob a Bank and 10 Tips to Actually Get Away with It that came out 10 years before Logan Lucky did. So I don't know.
I thought they were going to forget about that list, and that's how he's going to get caught, but he remembered.
Did they actually? I don't remember them actually going through it. Like, is there everything? I think everything happens, really, isn't it?
Yeah, right. When after the heist, it kind of pans to the list, and then there's just one thing left is
The
hang up
walk
and
away one, yeah.
and then you see him burning it.
Established
so-
clear communication. So I don't remember them necessarily doing that. But
They made a phone
I don't
call.
know.
They had the times.
Yeah.
They were using the NASCAR as timing.
They were. So yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think they did. Not it was. I feel like it could have been more obvious that they were hitting each other, not necessarily coming up on the screen. But I thought they could have done it anyway. Sorry, Chris. Carry on with the quiz.
Bruce, you might get this one. What books did the inmates want in the library?
Oh, is it like Dance with Dragons and the Winds of Winter? Is that what they were called?
Alex said Winds of Winter. The other one was Dream of Spring.
Oh, right, okay.
And
Bacon.
I fucked this up again. How have I done that?
I think you came to me twice there, so give Andy 2, I think.
Right. I've ruined it
Bacon.
now because I was going to ask Bruce, what was the formula Joe Bang writes on the wall? Because you did physics. But it's not, this wasn't the actual real one. So, Andy, apart from actually losing the hand, what was so unlucky about Clyde's accident?
I don't know. He lost a nut. Lost a left testicle. Right testicle. The tip of his
He
penis.
literally finished his deployment and was on his way home, and he lost it on the way to the airport.
He was
Yeah.
back.
That was it. I think Bruce won that. I'm not sure. I've lost track now.
Yeah.
I've lost track.
Can I get
of
bonus
it
point for
now.
testicles?
Sure. Yeah.
Lose it? Yeah.
Yay. A draw again, I think. I don't know.
It's not about winning. It's about taking part now.
Surely the
I'm
tip
gonna
of his
take it back.
penis is worth something.
Ever
Extra.
since Andy refused to take part, the quiz is all about taking part now. So, anyway, moving on. Point 6 on the podcast, movies within movies. Tough one for me, this. I had to do a bit of digging and a bit of looking around. So parodies, references, and similarities I usually go for. Immediately, Talladega Nights, the Ricky Bobby story, the Will Ferrell one about NASCAR. Anytime I see NASCAR, I just think of that film. I want to watch it again.
Shake and bake.
Oceans 11, 12, and 13. But I forgot to mention it earlier. When we watched Haywire, we criticised Steven Soderbergh for essentially using off-cut music and stuffing it into Haywire where it didn't fit. There was only one scene in this where it was very Oceans. There was a certain music, heisty Oceans 11, and then I went to proper full-on kind of old classic southern rock and roll music for the rest of the time. Very good soundtrack, I thought. But that one scene made me think of the Oceans and the fact it is a heist. The OG Ocean's 11 film from the 1960s, the original one, they escaped with the loot in trash bags like they did in this film. So he didn't use that in his Ocean's film, but he used that in this film. Game of Thrones, because they talked about it. And then Fast and Furious, they mentioned the Fast and Furious movies. I did a bit of research.
Oh, yeah.
It would be the Fate of the Furious, as in F8 of the Furious, would be the Fast and Furious film around about this time that they were talking about. But that's it. It's difficult for references from this one here. And of course, Daniel Craig's accent is from the south, like it was in Knives Out. But Chris, what have you got for movies within movies?
Well, like you previously mentioned, Steven Soderbergh directed Haywire, which segues nicely to Channing Tatum, who was also in Haywire, and 21 Jump Street. I thought he was in more, but I think it's because we've had him more frequently, more recently.
Yeah, I think it's
You
his
know what I mean?
third film in about, I don't know, 12. Like,
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Tatum?
So I used to be loads of stuff.
I've
But he's
picked them
not
all,
actually.
by the way. It's always been my pick.
He loves the Tatum.
Challenge-
Magic Mike's next, strap in.
Adam Driver was in The Dead Don't Die.
You can never say that.
Hurts
him every
awful.
time.
I hate it. It does.
I would-
And finally, Dwight
wasn't-
Yoakam is
I
the
wasn't sure
prisoner
you'd get
warder. He was the doctor in Crank.
I wasn't sure you'd get him because I was like, I know that guy. Where do I know that guy from? Dig, dig, dig. Oh, Crank!
It took me a while because he walked around and I was like, I recognise him. And then he said something, I was like, that's the fucking doctor. And as for putting us into a film, Andy is definitely Jimmy Logan because I won't go into details why, but you're the jammiest fucker ever.
Yes. Heist,
The heist of the century.
Exactly, this is a proper heist. Bruce, I put you as both the Band brothers morphed into one. And I want to be Joe Band because I'm a bit of a wild card in the group, you know. So that was it.
I went a slightly different route, but the same sort of options. Andy's Joe Bang, just I don't know, he just seemed like it. I'm Clyde again. I felt like it fit me would be Clyde, but I went with Chris for Jimmy because like family man. I thought. So,
Yeah, he's a
I thought
family man.
So I thought it kind of left me with Clyde, and I thought I'm happy being Adam Driver because his character's usually my favourite in the films that he's in. But yeah, I think yours is a good one as well, Chris. I will not discredit yours. Andy, movies within movies. You've not given your hand away yet, I don't think. So what have you got?
Right. So imagine yourself there. You're in a nice tuxedo. You're sipping on your martinis, but then your world goes to shit because the government that you work for is basically just burnt you, and a nice other big bad guy is trying to kill you. So you got to drop off the grid.
All right.
So what do? You go to the south and you get put in jail for no apparent reason and dye your hair blonde, just to stay undercover until your movie's about to come out. But then the pandemic kicks in, and the movie never actually comes out, so you're stuck. But at least you've got a nice tidy fund of money to tide you over until the movie actually comes out. But you've probably spunked most of that in marketing for the third time if it ever does come out. But yeah, this is a story about James Bond undercover, working with the Logans.
I think that's why I identified Clyde the barman because he can make a good martini. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm good.
Yep.
I'm got hang of him. Very good. Very good. And very current as well, I think. Another jab at No Time to Die. Stick with you, Andy. Point 7 on the podcast. Your hypotheticals. What are we answering this week?
Right, this one's for both of you rather than picking on Chris this time. We'll start with Bruce this time though. Give Chris a little bit of time to answer. Right. So hypothetically, if you went out to Iraq, would you rather have lost an arm or a leg?
I was sure you were going to say or a testicle there.
So did I, actually. I was
So
like,
would you
right,
rather?
I'll lose a
So would
testicle.
you rather be like Jimmy or the other dude? What's his fucking name? I just lost his fucking name.
Clyde.
Whatever, the Logan's brother, yeah, Jimmy or Clyde. So arm,
if it's like that, I'd rather have a limp than no arm.
No,
But
no.
I think
not
if
like
I'm
a limp,
losing
but a
one,
lateral leg.
yeah.
So you
It's
either
a
lose
leg.
your foot or your hand. You don't lose a whole leg, you lose a foot or a hand.
I think it'd be a foot I'd rather lose than a hand, but I'd rather lose but I'd probably rather lose an arm than a leg, maybe, because it's a lot of hopping.
No,
around.
it's still the same. Like the amputee things are. I'm
Yeah,
happy to walk about with a limp, but I need my hands because,
actually.
especially if I lost my right hand, I'd be useless because I can't do anything with my left.
Oh, right. I wondered where you were going there.
I can't write. I've tried writing with my left hand and it is awful. I can't
Right.
throw with my left hand. It's pathetic. So I need my hands.
Oh,
Yes,
shit.
I probably agree. On reflection, I'll keep my hands.
Yeah, I
good,
need my
good,
hands. It's mostly gaming. I need 2 hands for gaming.
good. Ah, yeah,
Oh no, you don't need that anymore. Now
Yeah.
you've got fucking like a
Yeah.
big massive thing now. You just use your feet and stuff.
Oh yeah, you try and
I've
play
seen people-
Call of Duty fucking pressing the foot to try and shoot somebody. I'm bad enough with a controller.
There's people better at
Some
Call of
guy
Duty
could do
than
it
me that
without
do their
hands.
mouth.
Oh yeah, I've seen that guy with his mouth where he just kills people. Like he does. How do they do it?
Absolute beast.
I don't know how. Incredible. Far more talented than me, even with my arms. Carrying on. Point 8 is our nominations for the Pointy Awards, which I'm going to have to start working on soon because we're not too far away from them. nominees or nominations, I will run through mine first. I'd often go first. Best song. It's tough to pick best song in this because I think all the songs are pretty damn
West
good. And
Virginia.
I'm not picking that. So I went for Roadrunner, which is only briefly played at one point, but it is about it's the one where they cut to the motor speedway and he starts talking about the plan. It's a song called Roadrunner. I really like that, and it's not Wooly Bully, despite the fact that me and Andy think it's near enough the
Bully,
same
bully.
song.
Bully, bully.
I picked that. My most unexpected went as follows: Katie Holmes, and then not anymore. Then Huey from The Boys, not anymore. The Winter Soldier, then maybe him. The teacher from Stranger Things, the guy who helps him with like the radio stuff. He's
Oh,
in
yeah.
one scene at
Oh
the start.
yeah.
He randomly shows up. He also does the same thing in Godzilla. He just randomly rocks up in the second Godzilla film. And I've got Hilary Swank as well. So at some point in there is my most unexpected person. I don't know which one. I think Hilary Swank coming in 3/4 of the way through the film was probably my most unexpected. Best special effects. Something that's kind of gone unsaid. Adam Driver has 2 hands. In this film, he only had one. So the special effects of when he has his arm off is pretty damn good for a film that didn't have a massive budget. Best line of the film. Daniel Craig's in the back of the car and goes, Smelly, smelly. That rhymes with smelly for no reason at all. Other than maybe to flirt with Melly, but that's it. So that was the most I laughed.
I thought you were going to do the one where he goes, I would get naked, no peeking. I said no peeking.
Yeah, she definitely peaked. Best plan, undoubtedly. I don't really do best plan. I had to write the category in, but undoubtedly a flawless plan of the top 10 rules for robbing a bank is an incredible plan. Best fight, Jimmy versus English Seth MacFarlane. Best inanimate object is the opposite of the special effects. Clyde's new hand is the best inanimate object. That thing was pretty cool. Worst cop, the security guards at the speedway who couldn't just go where the fire was. Like, go where you know where the fire is. It's coming out of the. Oh, they didn't go there. Worst twist, he didn't give all the money back. I think we always knew he wasn't going to give the money back. Best villain, Seth MacFarlane, because of what Chris outlined earlier on. He was very hateable, and I enjoyed hating him and liked him getting beat up. But I've made up a new award, which is we've kind of not really mentioned this. It's the Sadie Logan Award, which I've put for a non-annoying kid in a film. As in, her storyline wasn't needed, but I was never annoyed by her. As I feel little girls in films and little kids just piss me off, and I'm like, why are
I don't know.
in every scene?
Her butcher in West Virginia.
Yeah, I thought it's not
That
for
didn't bother
untalented.
me that much.
But I'm got the Sadie Logan Award. I'm bringing out for a non-annoying kid because she was not annoying. I've nominated a lot of things there, so I don't know what's left for you. So Andy, what have you got? Fill in some gaps if you want.
I'm going to agree with you on Seth MacFarlane being like the best bell end award. He's pretty good in that. Unexpected cameo, because I would definitely class it as the only cameo is Sebastian Stan, because he doesn't actually impact the characters in any way, but he's there for I don't know what reason, but he's in the film. Best, I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna rename this one the best pornographic scene, and it is the bacon scene. That bacon cooking.
Best food porn scene is what you need.
Just porn scene. Best porn scene, bacon cooking.
It could be something else that isn't porn or food. It could be something else.
Yeah.
So, best porn. Okay.
Because that's most orgasmic food.
Yeah. Because it was a choice between the bacon or the egg, but I thought vending machine egg, no. So yeah, best porn scene, bacon cooking. I don't really have anything else. I think you covered them all.
Fair enough. We'll go with Chris. See if you remember any when we're done, Chris.
Well, I'm going to trump your best song. I'm going to go for Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival. It was so close to being West Virginia, but I hate that song at the end of a night at a party in New Year. So I went for Fortunate Son.
The problem for some was it was the tease, where I knew it was that, and it keeps going. It never comes in with the guitar, and then it comes in with the guitar, and it's that song, and then it doesn't actually properly hit either. It continues on. They milked it too much.
Yeah.
And, and also, I associate it with about 3 different other films, so I don't need another film that I associate that song with.
I was kind of half agree with your best plan. I've put the entire heist because it worked, and they basically got away with it.
Yeah.
My worst plan is discussing blowing up a vault while in a prison. Like, prison guards just walk past and listen to them and goes, well, these are stuck in jail. My best twist is that the bear in the wood was a guy in a bear costume. My best scene was when Joe, Jimmy, and Clyde are at the tubes, like I said before, and the tube comes flying back out and Clyde's like panicking. And he's like, I'm just switching it back too much, and he throws it back in. I also got a wee fright from the explosion because I thought it was just going to be a wee pfft, and just block it, but that was a bang. My best inanimate object is a southern accent.
Very good.
Ah, well played.
And my worst actor is fucking Hilary Swank because she was utter shit. There was like no range to her voice, and she was just shit.
Fucking hell, the Swank's
Andy,
getting
forget
attacked here.
Oh,
We've
just
never done her
pish.
before, have we? We'll have to see if a Hilary Swank film fits in somewhere or another. See if she can redeem herself. Andy, did you remember any while he was talking? Or
Nah, you keep covering them all.
I think we have nominated a lot there, so I think Logan
This could
Lucky.
be like the most nominated film ever.
Yeah, it might come up a
It's
lot.
honest.
I might have to limit it. I had to limit a film last year to last season to 15
So
nominations, I
Blade
think. So I think it was, yeah. But we better crack on then. Point 9, the moral of the story. I didn't get a haiku. I worked for quite a while trying to get I could not get syllables in the right order here. So I've just gone, I've stolen Hannibal from the A-Team. I love it when a good plan comes together. That was my moral of the story here. It's not necessarily a moral, but I like it when a good plan comes together. Andy, what was your moral of the story?
Don't eat vending machine eggs. It'll give you the shits.
There wasn't much evidence of that, but
No.
as a rule, I think it's probably.
Well, he did throw up afterwards. Like, he did the throw up
I
plan.
was
So
drinking the water though because the water.
yeah, he say that. I'm still saying it's vending machine egg, and that would have gave me the shits.
Not impossible that it was the eggs. The rate he was eating them. As well. Chris, what was your moral of the story?
It's not a moral, but an umbrella is code for vagina, apparently.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
True.
Who told you that?
Chris learned that from an 8-year-old girl.
Why actually?
Whatever.
It was a wee one of the twins that said it.
Yeah.
It was. I need to. I never got that reading from that song, so I need to listen to it again.
No, I'm gonna have to Google it and see if it's actually true.
Yeah. Well, before we do that, point 10, the 10-point rating where we rate the movie out of 10 is the 10th point. I picked it, so I go first. Having never seen it before and on recommendation, I'm always apprehensive when Andy recommends me things. It doesn't typically go one way or another. It's like, why the hell am I doing this? Oh, this is quite good. I really liked it, loved it, thought it was amazing. It has the right amount of knowing what is happening, but without knowing why it's happening. And then I like the reveal of finding out why things are happening. I do love plans and heists. Heists are amazing. I love heist films when they are done properly. Everybody's good in it. Everybody's entertaining in it. The ones who aren't overly entertaining are doing something like Channing Tatum and Adam Driver are doing something with the characters. Quite enjoyed it. I give it a 9 out of 10 because I thoroughly enjoyed it on a first watch, and I've never seen it before, and I like watching a good film that I've never seen before, and also it's not from any intellectual property. It's not based on this character or from this film. It's a new
You
film.
never trust my recommendations, you see?
And there we go. It might be one of the best things Andy's ever recommended to me, but he has recommended some good ones in the past. Andy, you've seen it, so why don't you go next?
I've watched this film 3 times now, which is rare for me, and it's in quite a short period of time. It's almost once a year. On the 3rd time, it's not as good. It's very average. I still like Ocean's better as a reveal, but I guess a 6.
A 6 from Andy. And Chris, your first time watching as well.
It was, yeah, pretty much. I agree with everything you said. I really enjoyed it for the first viewing. Like I said, I love the southern accent, and any film's made better with it. It could have been done. I could have done without a few of the unnecessary scenes, like Hilary Swank in general, and like the NASCAR driver and all that, his build up, but that was just unnecessary. But overall, like, I'd still rate it an 8, and I will definitely be watching it again because I think it's good.
Yeah, it's not quite. When I gave Alien a 10, that was one, as we said at the time, I could go and watch it right now again. I'd go watch that film right now. With Logan Lucky, I watched it and then I stuck it on when I was doing my notes and I saw bits and pieces. I'm not quite ready to jump back into it again, but I will definitely watch it again. I should have bought myself some more time to do my maths here.
See, you guys should really just listen to my recommendations. I come up with some bangers, like. Nobody
One
ever
banger
believes.
in every 12th film is not a great ratio.
Yeah, but I
Maybe
watch
2
every
actually.
film.
You've had,
I watch every
what,
film ever
Chef
since
and
Die
then
Hard.
this.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if this is breaking records or whatever, but the official 10-point podcast rating for Logan Lucky is an 8. That's very high. Everything settles usually about a 5 or a 6 for us, but I'm not on top of the league table. But it sounds to me like that's up there with some of the highest rated films we've ever had. So Logan Lucky did very, very well there on my pick on Andy's recommendation. I will share the plaudits with Andy for that one there.
I'm taking the win.
But on to next time. on the podcast. It
Oh
is
God.
Chris, I believe. I often
Right.
go wrong here, but I think
Before he
it's Chris.
picks, before you
Yes.
give him any kind of build-up, let's just remember the last film he picked was The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which is
Yeah.
officially,
British. Yeah,
which
right.
is officially, and can never ever be beating the worst film that we have ever picked. It can
Yeah.
only ever be
Well-
tied.
Tied, yeah.
There you go, Chris.
It shouldn't be that bad, but
God, oh no.
I have seen this film, but the pick I've gone for is Reign of Fire.
Oh,
no.
God. Who doesn't love some dragons?
I'm gonna say it's dragons, yeah.
That's been
Yeah,
all,
pretty much because they mentioned Game of Thrones. I
Ah,
thought about this.
I was honest to
Right,
God going to watch that film about a month or so ago because I was like, I have not seen that film in a long time. And it came up on one of these Looper lists of the top 10 worst films of all time. And I was like, I don't remember it being that bad. So,
Well, we'll find out next week.
I've never seen it. I've looked at the
Ooh.
stars of it, and I see we've done the three main
Yeah.
male
yes.
stars have all been covered before. I've also gone to the wrong app, but yes, Reign of Fire, not seen it. Dragons. And
I was sure you must have seen this one.
Nope,
But
never
okay.
Bruce has not seen anything,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah, I've seen very few of the films that we pick on here. I think I've probably seen the least. See the me or Chris, or maybe I don't know, maybe worth looking at.
Personally, I don't think it's as bad as Imaginary with Dr. Parnassus.
You wait till
I was not
rewatch.
prepared for how shit that film was, and I apologise again.
I don't think it's gonna be tough. It's like Predator 2 or something really bad to be worse than that. I think.
Yeah,
It's,
fucking hell, that's
Yeah,
not
Chris
bad.
loves Predator too.
oh no, never again. But yeah, the Imaginarium Dr. Parnassus. Do not watch. Just listen to the podcast. Do not watch that film. So there we have it. Logan Lucky did very well there, and you'll have 7 days now to
Y'all.
find and watch Reign
Getting
of
the
Fire.
southern accent going in.
To find Reign of Fire, watch that. Matthew McConaughey et al. And we will catch you next week on the 10 Point Podcast.